Another case of arson in Spokane. This time, a man sets fire to a gas station in North Spokane. What we know about a motive tonight.
We've seen some breezy winds today, but as we head into the rest of the week, expect things to be dry and toasty.
Plus, we're learning a man was arrested for burglarizing a home while a family was evacuated during the Spokane fires. How police caught the suspect. That's all ahead on your Night Report.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us for the Night Report here on KREM 2 News. I'm Sydney Schofield. Another arson suspect is in jail today. This time, law enforcement say that a man set fire to a gas station in Mead. KREM 2's Brandon T. Jones has the details tonight.
Well, 4 gas pumps completely out of service. Crime scene tape still remains here on scene. And when you start to think about that combination of gas and fire, you realize just how serious things could have been here today at this gas station.
Take a look at these photos from the Spokane County Sheriff's Office. They say around 3:20 a.m., a man paid for gas, sprayed it on the ground, and then started a fire.
To find out somebody actually did it, like they were actually trying to burn the gas station down, that was pretty shocking.
According to court documents, 51-year-old James F. Snyder admitted to starting the fire as an effort to get help from law enforcement after he, quote, believed 3 unknown people were following him that he could not see.
I stop here all the time to get my points.
For those who frequent the gas station, they're trying to make sense of the whole situation.
The pumps could have blown up and blown out this whole entire town.
At his first appearance, a Spokane judge set Snyder's bond at $25,000, citing a concern for community safety and a lengthy criminal record for Snyder that includes 39 prior convictions.
Especially fires right after the Spokane complex fire and during a burn ban are all highly dangerous.
The gas station estimates the damage left behind by the flames will cost them roughly $200,000.
You can't make the stuff up anymore because every week it's something like so astronomically chaotic.
From Mead, Brandon T. Jones, KREM 2 News.
Spokane police say they've arrested a man suspected of burglarizing a home in the fire evacuation zone. A 5-mile resident reported their home had been burglarized between August 1st and August 8th while they were evacuated. After looking at video from the scene, police say they arrested Lawrence Moss and he was booked on burglary charges. 2 other men were also arrested for other crimes committed in the evacuation zones. They were both charged with criminal trespass. The Environmental Protection Agency is now sending crews to properties impacted by the Spokane complex fires. More than 170 people will spend the next few weeks removing hazardous materials left behind by the fires. That includes things like paint, chemicals, and lithium batteries. The EPA's work comes as families begin returning to their properties and trying to figure out what comes next. One Spokane County couple, Pat and Brenda Konechny, returned to their home for the first time since the fires. Their house of more than 4 decades was destroyed, but they spent hours sifting through the debris, looking for anything they could save.
Yeah, you can see the cross there. That was the first thing we kind of focused on when we came, was the cross. And then to us it was like, everything's gonna be okay. God has us in his hands.
The couple says they found burnt jewelry, pieces of porcelain china, and other items. They say their memories, though, are what matters most. The EPA says its crews will help make sure hazardous materials are safely removed as the community begins the long road to recovery. Let's talk weather now with meteorologist Cody Proctor. And Cody, as we move through the next few days, the second half of our week, things are looking hot and dry.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Sydney. We got a peak of those low 90s yesterday here in Spokane, and today we only managed to reach up into those upper 80s. As we take a look outside, trying to get my clicker to work right here, we might be experiencing some technical difficulties, but as we head into the next few days, we are looking at our temperatures continuing to heat up for us as we go, looking to be in the mid 80s for tomorrow. By the time we get into about Thursday and Friday, that's when we can start to see that chance for our temperatures to warm up into the low 90s for us. So we are expecting some relatively quiet conditions, but as we get towards the end of the week, one thing that we are keeping a close eye on, Later on is a potential for some showers to move into our forecast. We're keeping track of that because of a possibility for a cold front to move through. But right now is a small chance that we're expecting as we go into our late Friday and into early Saturday. Before then, we're just looking at this ridge of high pressure that is building up that kept us quiet for the most part today. Some places did see some breezy winds. And at one point, we had a red flag warning for the lower Palouse and for the Snake River area. Now, as we head into the rest of the week, for the most part, we should be fairly quiet. Lots of sunshine is expected in our forecast, and that's just going to continue to heat things up, especially since we're keeping track of a lot of sunshine. Smoke could still be a potential issue in our forecast. We'll just have to see as those winds shift. I'll break it down for you coming up in our full forecast later tonight.
Cody, we'll check back in with you soon. Thank you. Dozens of people turned out today to give their opinions on future data centers in Spokane County. After testimony, the county commissioners made a unanimous decision. KREM 2's Connor McAvoy was at the hearing and reports on that decision tonight.
Today, Spokane County commissioners voted unanimously to put a pause on the development of data centers across the county for the time being. Now, the vote means the county's building and planning departments would stop accepting or processing applications for data centers while new rules are written. The county is defining a large load data center as one requiring at least 20 megawatts of electrical capacity. And for those larger facilities, the proposed rules would require developers to show they have enough power and water to operate, along with studies on noise, vibration, and water feasibility. If a large data center were proposed over one of the region's major aquifers, developers would face additional requirements, including groundwater monitoring, stormwater controls, and plans for managing potentially hazardous materials. The county says the goal is to balance the economic benefits of data centers, including jobs and property tax revenue, with concerns about their demands on power, water, and other natural resources. Now, during the meeting, County Commissioner Josh Kern says this is a positive first step and will be an ongoing process to see the best way to deal with data center developments moving forward. We managed to speak to a community member, Zenthia Peterson, who says they're concerned about the environmental impacts to folks countywide.
Certain energy restrictions, like how much energy a data center can use, is going to be really valuable, and noise restrictions for like when you're developing these, how much pollution can you put out, air pollution, water pollution, and sound pollution. These are going to be impacting all of our neighbors.
Prior to the action today, there was nothing around data centers in our county code. That first draft was to get something on the books.
I did speak with Commissioner Al French a few weeks ago on the topic of data centers, and he says environmental concerns are a big factor in how the county would go about implementing them as time goes on. Now, the pause is set to remain until December, but that could possibly change. County leaders also emphasize anyone with questions or concerns are encouraged to attend meetings and do their own research and come with any questions they might have in the future. Connor McAvoy, KREM 2 News.
Today, the Spokane County Medical Examiner revealed the identities of two people who died at a house in Hillyard last week. On August 12th, police say they went to the 5000 block of North Cook Street and found two bodies in separate rooms of the home. One of the victims is identified as 51-year-old Gibbon Mark Fan. He died from blunt force injuries to the head, and his death is considered a homicide. The other victim is identified as 34-year-old Joshua Rathbun, who died from an overdose of fentanyl and methamphetamine. His manner of death is listed as suicide. 3 men are facing federal drug trafficking charges. The DEA says they recovered nearly 30 pounds of fentanyl, cocaine, and methamphetamine in 2 separate arrests. According to court documents, an Okanagan County Sheriff's Office canine sniffed out the narcotics in a truck during a traffic stop. Then in another incident, according to court documents, DEA investigators were monitoring Gerson Cortez Lopez, who frequently traveled between Spokane and California. Investigators stopped him and a man named Angulo Braulio at a hotel downtown as he just returned from California again. Investigators say they found 3 vacuum-sealed packages that you see here on your screen right now, the contents of which later tested positive for fentanyl. Investigators say Cortez Lopez admitted he was a drug courier in Spokane and he was training Braulio to be the next courier here. All 3 are expected back in court on Thursday. A Payette woman accused of killing her twin toddlers pleaded not guilty to 2 counts of first-degree murder. Andrea Shaw entered the plea Tuesday in Payette County Court, where a judge also set her jury trial for January 11th of next year. Shaw's 2 children were found dead in May of 2025. Prosecutors say the twins died of suffocation. Shaw's defense has disputed that claim and argued vaccinations and environmental factors may have played a role. Shaw remains in jail after her bond was revoked in July. Her next court hearing is scheduled for October 15th. A lot more to get to tonight on the Night Report. Nearly 3 months after a deadly tank implosion at a Longview paper mill, crews are now starting to take it apart. We'll bring you the latest. And later, millions of Washingtonians could soon get money from Google. Who is eligible for a share of the $13 million settlement and how you could get paid? We'll be right back.